Epiphany. Good, welcome. Feeling a little crazy. Yeah. It's notice of demolition. Notice of demolition. No mission. Notice of demolition. On a mission. Notice of demolition. With your host, my condition. Where is my commission?
Welcome, everybody. This is another episode of Notice of Demolition, where we destroy or humiliate
or question
self-help gurus, people who think they know more than we do or you do,
business gurus,
life coaches, and my personal favorite, marketing advertising, because 95% of it is crap. So let's get started. Misha, I know you drink coffee, and that's like you don't like coffee.
Yeah.
So
just drink it for the show.
You just drink it for the show.
Only for the show. Yeah. I figured that I have to have a good breakfast and the coffee before the show. Otherwise, it's
you failed with the breakfast.
No.
Did
no.
you eat breakfast?
Yeah. I failed before today.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So
no.
we'll see the effect.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. So I highly encourage everybody that's watching the show to continue if they do, and if they don't, get on it. It's important.
Yeah, and I discourage that because I usually don't have it, so it helps me to keep my weight under the number I don't want to see.
Listen,
scales.
I would dream to be your weight.
Yeah, that's why you have to skip breakfast. That's what I'm saying. I'm discouraging. Don't eat breakfast. Just skip it. Yeah.
Just keep it going.
Skip it. Yeah.
Just keep it going. Okay, so Misha, you have some ideas on where you'd like to begin today's show.
So we're gonna continue with the book 22 Keys to Sales Success by James M. Benson and Paul Karasik. And these two guys, they are very successful salesmen.
Of course they are. That's why they wrote the book.
Yeah, but no, they wrote because they wanted to boost their ego even more.
There's no better way to boost your ego with your friends, especially with your friends, than to write a book.
Yeah, especially about unlimited success.
Oh. You've got a group of rich friends.
Yeah.
So, there's a saying. Your wealth you end up with in life, your average income, ends up becoming the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
So I'm going broke this year.
You're going to go...
Because I met you.
You met me, so the average has gone down.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
I already noticed it.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 months I know you, so...
Where are we, and where do we move forward?
Okay, so you wanna start with and finish with the keys, and then we go to your stuff that you prepared, or?
Well, like I said, the point of this show is not just the keys; it's about where we go with the keys. Yeah. Remember, we just said this book has maybe 10% original ideas.
Yeah, or none.
Or none.
Or none.
None. Yeah. These books are the original ideas, and those are the faker ideas. These are the ego. These are the ego.
I think they just rationalize their own success through these ideas they wrote they read somewhere, and they thought, oh, that's what I was doing.
Do you know what?
But they don't know what they were doing.
Do you know what a book really does? Yeah. Is it immortalizes you. So, like when you die, you're dead. You can't take your money with you. So as you get older, and the cover of this book has 2 guys with gray hair, perfect for financial services.
Yeah.
Once you're done, once your time on this earth is finished, the only thing left, is what you left behind.
Yeah.
And money, you can't just put it in the grave with you. It's the people that you affected. It's books that you've written that other people read. It's donations to or foundations that you've supported, ideas that you've presented to the world where other people appreciate and remember you. I bought an air fryer 1 year for like all my friends, and now every time they use the air fryer, they remember me. So I left like a legendary, sort of experience. I left like a legendary air fryer experience.
Let's go to the next key of the books.
What's the next key, Misha? Hit me.
You've got to believe.
Believe.
Yeah. So in that, what they say that what separates small success from huge is like the question. It's not in what the individual knows. It is an inner quality, one that has the power to touch the prospect's emotional being.
Oh.
Now we are going into metaphysical stuff.
Metaphysical. It's like you have to brainwash yourself first.
Yeah. And do it good. Like
I mean, really good. You got to put it in the washing machine like 2-3 times.
To the extent that you're going to start sacrificing your life, your family, your friends, because you have to sell them. And also they recommend you yourself use your products.
You end up becoming that guy at the party that nobody wants to talk to because that's all you talk about.
Yeah. Whatever topic is brought, it's eventually...
It doesn't matter what...
steers to the product you sell.
It ends up talking about the product you sell. So that's why I don't believe in like full belief in your product.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing, it did touch on it, is to have building an emotional connection with people and then finding a way to add value to their life with your product, and never on the same day that you met that person. Like boo-boo number 1. You meet someone at a party, you don't start selling them in life insurance. Even if they need it, you give them your number, you go out for a couple dinners. It's like, don't try and, go to third base on the first date.
Yeah.
It's rude. It's rude.
But also, people always ask themselves, what do you do? And you just say, I sell life insurance. And
that's it.
You move on.
Then you move on.
Then
you move on. You talk about something else. But the unfortunate part
connection,
is that you're brainwashed. You don't know anything else.
You can't,
You're literally like, you don't know about baseball or football or sports. You don't know about ethics. You don't know about culture. You don't know about art. You don't know about, what's on the news or politics. Yeah. You're done. You are completely brainwashed.
Well, you might know some, but you don't have any incentive to talk about that. You are just
intellectually void.
Kind of.
Yeah.
By choice.
By choice.
Your own choice. Yeah.
No, but according to this book, it's required.
Yeah.
In order for you to be a good salesman, it needs to be required to be an intellectual void. You only have the ability to know your product.
Yeah. Partially I agree of having that skill controllably to do a self-deception.
Self-deception.
Yeah. Sometimes if you can do it, if you can go in and out, that. Why are you surprised?
It's just.
Can you find like a positive thing in that?
The first thing that came into my head was like, my head's in the gutter having subliminal thoughts. So please forgive me.
But you have to
my brain is like a sewer.
But don't you agree that sometimes it's good if you can trick yourself into doing something?
I think it's important to be able to create patterns.
Okay.
So.
But what if you are stuck? If you're stuck in some circle, you cannot get out.
No. So the way you get out of circles is you get better at creating patterns. So I'm dyslexic. So my superpower is the ability to see connections between other things. It's forced me to, instead of reading things logic like one word at a time, I have to be able to see the big picture and connect ideas that are from completely irrelevant, but somehow when you bring them together, like the sum is greater. The sum is greater than the pieces. So your point is,
Yeah.
your ability to come in and out of your reality
Yeah.
is 100% valid. So again, I want to demolish this concept.
Generally?
No,
Like,
not completely, but I think that if I wanted to give it a grade out of 10, I would give it a 6.
Mm-hmm. All right, all right. So still, it's a valid thing, to believe in what you sell.
Yeah, but not completely.
Not well. That's why I'm saying
I've sold financial services.
should be controlled. So your life.
What if you're selling a shit product?
Yeah, I understand.
What if
that's what I'm saying?
You can't sell shit in a box. No matter how pretty the box is, people see through your bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's say you're working for a company that sells crap, like bad life insurance, like high fees, high expenses, super high commissions. You're highly motivated to sell the life insurance, but the end result for the person sucks. So, it becomes even harder to brainwash yourself unless you're an unethical individual who doesn't give a shit about what he's selling. He's just trying to make money. That's not me. Personally, that's not me. I can't do that. I've got integrity. I think I do. I try and practice integrity.
Oh, that's what they say before selling a shitty product.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they tell, that's what the other guys, oh my God, they don't have any integrity.
Integrity is expensive. Integrity is expensive.
I think we're gonna touch it on the next key, integrity, in very unexpected way. But
okay, continue.
Let's
continue. I love it.
Let's go. Yeah. Well, then he gives an example of a salesman failing to sell. Actually, the product is very near and dear to your heart. Diamonds.
Diamonds. Yeah. Oh my God, I love this topic.
All orphans love diamonds. So
all orphans love diamonds.
Yeah.
My family grew up. My family for 3 generations have been in the diamond business. My grandfather was mining diamonds in Africa before normal people were finding diamonds in the rivers in Africa.
Yeah.
So he basically went to Africa from Lebanon, found a bunch of orphans, and showed him a diamond and said, okay,
believe in the product.
Believe in this rock. This is the rock that you want to find. He would give them a piece of bread and maybe like a Radio Shack, radio, and say, fill this table with rocks. And the little boys would run off into the river and come back with a whole table full of rocks. And my grandfather, because he was a diamond dealer and gemologist, he would pick out the diamonds. He knew which ones were diamonds, put them in his pocket, and then give each one a sandwich.
Which is very noble. It's great.
They don't eat bread over there. They don't know what a sandwich is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he would go back to Lebanon, cut the diamonds, and make thousands of dollars. And, that's basically taking advantage of orphans.
No, but also what if they never found any diamonds, He still would feed them and lose money on those sandwiches.
That's true. Yeah. That's absolutely
That's the other side
true.
of business people don't discuss. They don't like to discuss.
Yeah, people don't
Failure. Everyone's talking about success. 22. How about 22 keys to sales failure?
22 keys. So let me tell you something. If you fail and you did everything this book told you to do, I believe that you're not a failure because you finished the book. You did everything that you were told.
Yeah.
You believed in somebody, and
then you never got your sandwich.
You never got a sandwich. Out of the entire story that we're talking about right now.
And you have full pockets of rocks.
And you got a whole pocket full of rocks that are worthless. But I want to applaud you because you
made an effort,
it's like making your bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like making your bed.
Yeah,
they tell you no, there's no value. They say that you should accomplish one thing in the every day. Accomplish. There's a psychological value to completing a task. It means you got something done.
Yeah.
And they say making your bed in the morning is one of the most valuable things to do perfectly, not imperfectly, because you accomplished a task first thing in the day. So you've already begun to start completing things.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
You like it.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So make your bed, okay?
Yeah.
Don't be a lazy bastard. Make your bed in the morning and care about it, like crease it a little bit, make it so it's presentable. So, there's a good feeling when you come home and the bed is made. I hate coming home and seeing the bed that's it's just like not fresh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
So this story is that one salesman, he wasn't able to sell a diamond to a customer, and then customer goes to the door, and then there's another older salesman. He kind of runs to the door and stops the customer at the door and convinced him eventually to buy this thing. And then when this younger salesman is impressed and he asks how did you do it, because I gave him all my speeches, all the good stuff, and still he didn't buy. And he said, well, you know a lot about diamonds, but I love them. So that's the point about the believing in the product and really loving it with all your heart. So you can transmit that love that sometimes is irrational, sometimes it defies the logic, but it's attached to emotions. That's the point they're making there.
I had a hard time listening to every word you just said after the word convince. To me, convincing is manipulation. Because the person didn't want a diamond. Yeah. You, through your emotional connection to diamonds.
But why the person entered the
store?
Jewelry store, yeah.
I have a lot of experience here. My family owns a jewelry store.
What would be the reason of a person not wanting diamond and just entering the store?
There's people who just walk in because it's a rainy day.
Well,
there's people who walk in because they've got nothing to do. There's people who walk in because it makes them feel rich to be looking at jewelry. There's so many reasons people walk into a jewelry store that have nothing to do about them wanting to buy jewelry.
Let's talk. You know what? The other day when you invited us to dinner.
Yeah, sure.
And there was a guy who came and he was taking pictures or whatever, and you went outside, and then I asked you, who is that guy? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
You got to remind me a little more.
No, the guy that painted the number for.
Oh,
tell the story about that.
Okay, so it's
kind of connected to this. But...
Okay, there's a guy. He came every year. Every couple years, he comes by, and
that's what he says. It's not your experience. He told you that.
Well, I just moved in there, so I don't know the real.
So it's his words.
It's his words. Yeah. So he comes by and he paints the number real nice and clean of your address on the side of your street. A week later, probably the owner of the company's son. Here we go, marketing. Young man, But you haven't. I'm sorry, you haven't paid for this. I haven't paid for this.
They just came and they painted it, but they let you know we painted. Right?
No, they put a sign on your door. They say, We're painting the sidewalks. Mm-hmm. If you see someone doing something on your property, just notifying. That was a week before. Mm-hmm. But the point of the story is that they did it for free. Yeah. Not for fun. And then they came back a week later, knocked on my door when Misha was there, and they asked for donations. Mm-hmm. Not for money, for donations.
But did they accept any kind of other donation except money?
Good point. I could have given him a sandwich.
Yeah. They didn't ask for sandwich. They asked for money.
They asked for money.
Yeah. Okay.
But I could have given them a sandwich.
Well, you should have tried and see.
You're right. I should have tried to give him a sandwich.
Yeah.
But you know, there is a psychological premise to in consumer psychology. When you give someone something first, there is an implicit desire to pay someone back.
Yeah. So it's manipulation.
So it was a marketing tactic. What you do is you go in, you give someone something, and you know that you've already, you know what? It gave the kid a reason to knock on your door and ask you for something without feeling like you're cold calling, you know, like knocking on doors, because you did something already.
But, like, wasn't that service unsolicited?
It was completely unsolicited. Yeah. But that's the point of marketing. That's the point of today's marketing tactics.
But wouldn't it be better if they come or they leave a note and they say, hey guys, we paint things.
It's $20.
It's $20. If you want, just text us here.
No, that wouldn't be better.
No?
No.
Okay. Why?
Why? Because of the psychology of the marketing behind it.
No, you're talking about the result. That wouldn't be better for result.
No, let's talk about money.
I'm talking about the morality of the whole thing.
The morality of the whole thing, I think the morality of the whole thing, you're right. It would have been better if they asked for money, and if you didn't pay, then you wouldn't get the service. But if we're talking about making money, you would make more money according to the psychological principles of giving away something first and then making the other person feel bad, not feel bad, but implicit, subconsciously indebted to you. So I could have given him a sandwich and felt better about myself, but I didn't. I gave him $5. Now, other people could give them $20. You know, it takes them 2 minutes. They put, you know, they put a little thing here, and then they spray. And if you think about it, if it takes them 2 minutes and they make $5, could you imagine how much money per hour they're making?
Yeah, I understand. Also, there are expenses there, gas and...
gas? No, you're walking.
And,
you could do a street in an hour. This is a huge business. I just realized you could be making 6 figures.
Yeah.
The only thing is, the paint, it lasts a couple years. So you can only you have to have like a big, you know, region that you hit. So every couple years you go to the next area and then you just do your thing. Anyway, I think
for me, I think what they did is called first of all unsolicited service. Then they were begging for money. And then and third one, they did vandalism, the act of vandalism.
No, it was on a public street. No. It wasn't.
Yeah, I understand.
It wasn't vandalism. Government property.
But this is my house, for example, and I have my house number there, and I like it the way it is. Maybe my deceased father, last year he painted, and now it's fading away, and they destroyed that memory of my father.
Okay, you made a good point.
Yeah, look how I'm gonna react when this guy comes for and asks for donation.
Yeah, I get it. You make a good point. Let's say your father died and it was the last thing that you remember about it.
Yeah, not last, but it's the thing I see every day, and I can't. It just remembers me.
Yeah, like the air fryer I use every day.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. All right. I stand corrected. There are circumstances where this unsolicited donation of their time could be considered. But maybe I didn't read.
And the other thing,
I didn't read the note. Yeah. Maybe there was a box that said, you know, F you, don't touch my sidewalk. There could have been a box. You know what I mean? Like a disclaimer. If you don't want us to.
Yeah, I know, but still, by default, they're painting.
If I don't check any boxes,
they are not a government service, so.
If I don't check the boxes, then they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, but still, by default, you know, so they kind of force you to read, to go through this thing, and then check the box, and.
I know it's a hassle. It's a hassle. Reading's a hassle. But I want to continue.
So basically, one of the points again with the K5 that you must, I like this word. You must exude evangelical spirit.
So these guys are trying to exude their sales, their product.
Yeah.
They are a walking emotional aura of their product.
There is a great story they give it as an example of that, and as an example, of course, like the example is great. So he says that in this example, salesman is trying to sell insurance to his friend again to his friend.
I love it.
Like the premise already says so much.
He has friends.
Well, he has it because he's just beginning.
Is it a friend or an acquaintance?
No. It's to a friend. So he's just on the beginning, like entry level.
Yeah, he met the person that day.
Salesman. No. He said it's his friend. It's his friend because later. So again, so he tries to sell, and his friend is not buying. The salesman gives him the best speech, like shows all the numbers, everything.
Yeah.
Not buying. So the point here is just he was showing him numbers, but not like emotions. They say emotions, but in reality they sell fear. They use fear to sell things.
Fear is a very good tactic.
So what he does, and he said, okay, I can see you're not buying, so I'm just washing my hands, you're not buying. But could you please sign this like testimony letter for me? And the friend says, okay, like
I did a good job selling, but I didn't sell you.
He gives him this letter, and the friend just like, oh, okay, like the letter says, this is to confirm that I will not buy any life insurance from you, no matter how hard you try to convince me that I should. So, and the friend has to sign. So friend signed it and gave it back to the salesman and asked him, like, what is for? Who is for? What the hell? And he said, and the noble salesman responded, I'll show it to your wife right after you die. Right after you die. Can you imagine? His friend died, and he just where's this letter? He found this letter. He runs to his wife. Look! I tried to sell you life insurance.
Ask me what my first feeling is.
What is your first?
You fucking son of a bitch!
Yeah.
That is the first feeling.
Yeah.
That I got. I would punch that guy in the face immediately. We would no longer be friends. I will never call you again. I will buy life insurance from somebody else.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah. But
guess what? You sold me.
But our guys...
No. No. You know what? Applause, everybody.
Insurance.
This man sold me insurance, life insurance.
Yeah.
But I will never buy it from him.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. My wife, I don't want my wife to go without, the needs. Mm-hmm. In fact, you did a great job explaining to me all of the things that are going to happen if I don't have life insurance. Thank you so much for all the time that you spent. In fact, now I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. But I'll never give you a cent of my money.
Yeah. And never call
because you insulted me.
We are not friends anymore.
We're not friends. I'm not going to call you.
Yeah.
You're not coming over for dinner.
Yeah.
You want a beer? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Get your shit and get out.
Get your shit and get the hell out of my house.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got emotional. That was a low blow.
Yeah. And can you imagine these guys? They wrote it, they edited it, and they published this stuff. They think it's like...
That's a good point.
Great
these authors are fucking idiots. Yeah. They actually wrote this story as an example of how to sell something.
Yeah.
So this is a really good example of not swallowing this crap whole and believing every word that you read out of these best sellers on the book list at like Barnes and Noble, okay? Because these words right here are insulting and you will go nowhere and make no money. I had to do it.
Yeah, we don't have...
this is Captain Obvious.
Well, yeah.
But it is kind of Captain Obvious. It is Captain Obvious. If you do that tactic, it is Captain Obvious that I'm never buying from you. Captain Obvious.
So this is the key for to sales failure. Exactly.
So this is what happened. We are down to 21 keys to sales success.
Because this is right path to the sales.
This is the path to failure right here. So let's continue on because we're done with this key. Like at least this part.
Oh, I know what happened. I know these guys. They're genius. They wrote this book, so no other salesman can sell insurance except for them. It's genius.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
Bravo.
That is the most manipulative thing that I could ever hear.
Yeah.
They wrote this book so nobody so the market of salespeople who sell financial services like fail.
Yeah.
And they can eat up. You know, actually, I'm sure they have 22 keys.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the safe. They don't actually tell you about it. Yeah.
All right. So key number 6, don't be afraid to walk away. And it's like also says that it was Jim's epiphany. Yeah. So the story goes like this. So it's again story time. Story time. I love it. So Jim. So it's now it's very personal. It's exactly we know who it is. It's Jim Benson. One of the James M. Benson, one of the authors. So it's a story about him. It's his epiphany, and let's hear it. So Jim's accountant gives Jim one of his clients to so-called develop.
To work on them.
To work on them.
Work on them.
So Jim called this guy, and it was at the beginning of Jim's career, so he was kind of
desperate.
Desperate. That guy. His name is Rich, but I kind of pronounce it when I first read it. It's like Rick.
Wait, so the friend of the accountant's name is Rich.
It's accountant's customer, not friend.
But the guy's name is Rich.
Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rich.
That's a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
You know, like
Rich. That's why
the accountant recommends a friend.
Yeah.
Who's rich? You get what I'm saying here? It's a little funny.
I know. So I think Jim probably changed his name, but doesn't matter. I'm gonna call him Rick because I like it. It sounds very German. Rick.
Okay.
Rick, like Richter or whatever. Okay. So this Rick guy. So Rick, he said, "Oh yeah, sure, Jim. Yeah, let's talk about your business, your like insurance or whatever. Let's meet at lunch. You know, I'm available at lunch. Let's meet there." And so they met at the, as Jim pointed several times later, that's a very expensive restaurant. And he didn't say he's not saying here that he paid for the lunch, but at the end we know that he paid for the lunch. Jim paid.
Yeah, it was his.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was his last dollar.
Yeah, it was his last. So he kind of complained, "Oh, it was expensive," but Jim says, I had a really good feeling. This guy, he was like we were connecting, really, from the start, from the beginning.
This has happened
on the phone
so many times.
Yeah. So they did this lunch. It was amazing. The guy was eating up all the Jim's bullshit, listening, amazed by all the options of the insurance and all the products Jim has.
And guess what? the guy was drinking champagne and eating lobster the whole time.
Oysters. More oysters.
More oysters, please.
Yeah.
More champagne. Keep it coming.
And Jim's eyes were green.
No, Jim is seeing dollars.
Yeah, he was imagining all the good things he gonna buy and close his credit cards.
Yeah.
And his wife's finally gonna
yeah, life is gonna get good.
Start seeing a man in him.
Yeah.
And so Jim said, "Oh yeah, okay. So let's go. Just one more thing. Let's go through the survey. There's the survey." So he told Rick, "Let's go through the survey," and he agreed. And he said, spend the whole hour. They did the whole survey. So
it takes time to eat lobster.
Rick was so excited and he loved the survey too. So then Jim said, "Yeah. So
the guy's eating lobster. He's taking the survey. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the one." One more, please.
So they did after basically they did 1 hour of survey. Can you imagine it? I would walk away. It's like, but not Rick. Rick is just, I just love this guy already. So so you already guessed like what was happening. I guessed from the beginning, but Jim hasn't guessed. They get 4 lunches.
The next one was a porterhouse steak.
At the same restaurant.
With red wine. Nice Bordeaux. 1935 Chateau Leaf. $1,000 a bottle. And the bottles just keep coming.
So Jim said, okay, he was impressed because Jim said, like, no one ever before went through the whole survey. And he said, okay, Rick, I'm gonna prepare for you like the 2 options for you.
Yeah.
Like based on your survey.
Yeah, let's close
and
the deal.
Let's meet next week. And so I'm gonna prepare them for you to sign, and we can like make a deal. And Rick said it's fantastic. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. I love them already. I might be both options from you. So
one more lunch though.
So the good thing is that I'm imagining, it's not in the book, but I'm imagining that Jim, that this week after this lunch until next lunch, Jim was like, he felt real good about himself.
Just broke.
He was just flying.
He was also broke.
He was broke. But
he was so broke and desperate to close this deal.
Yeah, but he felt good.
He felt good.
I think he felt good.
Yeah.
And maybe probably he told all of his like friends competitors or whatever, the other insurance guys.
Oh yeah.
In the office or
I got a big sale coming, guys. I got a big sale.
And you know what his name is? Rich.
Rich is coming in, guys.
Yeah. So this time, so Jim calls Rick again, and he said, "Hey, like I prepared these options, and let's meet at your office."
Yeah.
But Rick said, "You know what? Let's meet at the restaurant. Let's meet at the restaurant."
Oh my God! Again.
So
I love this guy. I love. You know what this guy did? He realized he had something good. He had something good going on, like a real sucker.
Yeah.
And he just like dragged him along for the ride.
Jim was very excited about this meeting, by the way. I think both of them were. So they met and they went through all the details of both options. And Rick said that, yeah, let me really like take these papers and really think about them.
Okay.
So yeah, so Jim was excited.
It's like what? You got to call your wife?
Rick was excited. No, he took this paper. So Jim expected him to sign right away here, to choose.
Yeah, close the deal.
But yeah, deal wasn't closed, so he took these papers. What happened next? Next week, Jim calls him. Have you reviewed? And Jim said, yeah, I like this option number 2 or whatever. Like, yeah,
listen, let's go to lunch and sign the paper.
Yeah, and Jim said, yeah, I'm coming. Jim said, you know what? Actually, by the way, I'm really close to your office right now. I'm imagining what happened. Right now, I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
But I think that Jim was already like right behind the door of the Rick's office.
Yeah.
Just waiting until he would say, yeah, let's go to the restaurant. But he would say, yeah, no, I'm right here. Let me just come in and you sign. But Rick said, you know what? I'm just going for lunch and maybe we can do there. And Jim and Jim asked what restaurant, and of course it was that Rick's favorite but very expensive restaurant. So they met again, and Jim was very excited, and Rick was giving all the praise to these proposals, like all this plan was great, sounded great. But he said, you know what? I'm having real issues. Like I love it. Me personally, I love it. My wife, man, she says we cannot.
So he pulls out the atomic option.
Yeah, atomic option.
The atomic option was the testimonial. Okay, I understand. But I'd like for you to sign this testimonial that when you die,
no,
your wife will get nothing.
No,
your children will go hungry. Your children.
So Rick said, you know, man, like right now at the moment we have this cash flow issue, and we cannot just throw any money on insurance. So then Jim said, like, let's meet your wife. Like, Jim. Like his name is James, but he goes by Jim here.
Yeah.
So Jim said, yeah, like can I meet your wife? Like, and Rick said, you know what, bro? For you, let me talk to her. Rick said, I'm gonna talk to her.
Yeah.
Like a man.
Yeah.
So let's meet next week. Guess where? Jim tried desperately to meet anywhere else, like without paying a dime. Yeah.
Can we meet at a coffee shop?
Yeah. So again, they met the first time at the expensive restaurant, and Jim paid for everything. And then Rick said, "You know what, man? She's wild.
She's
wild.
just not having it."
Yeah, she's not having it. So Jim said, okay, like, can I talk to her? Let's, like, I think I can explain her. Maybe you haven't, like, explained her all the great benefits you're getting, guys, here, because it's just perfect for you. This plan is perfect for you. And Rick said, yeah, sure, man. Yeah. And, like, later this day, Rick picked up Jim and, like, drove to his home with his wife. And Jim, he brought all his, like, great
You do realize that he spent, like, imagine every lunch is like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So this guy, not only has he emptied his bank account to pay for these lunches, he's spent over 10 hours probably.
At the moment, he probably was paying like week of his salary for week of what he was making on that, each lunch.
So he's got I get it where you're going, but I want to explain why the no is coming.
I
don't even need to read the rest. You don't even.
No, you cannot predict what's gonna happen next. Because we are talking about James.
Is there another?
We're talking about James M. freaking Benson. Yeah. And he's Epiphany.
Yeah, he's a sucker. He's a sucker. Right now, he's a sucker.
Well, it is Epiphany. You're not getting Epiphany.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Without losing something. You have to pay for Epiphany. And he's paying for Epiphany.
Okay.
It's just
it was very expensive.
You would pay less for Epiphany, for the same Epiphany.
This is an expensive Epiphany.
Yeah. I would just pay what I can afford to lose for Epiphanies. That's what I do usually. Oh, how much for this Epiphany? Can you make it like,
a little cheaper?
A little cheaper, yeah. Like, can I get a discount for the Epiphany? Jim, he brought like all his best presentations, colorful with pie charts and all spreadsheets. And the wife, she was just. And Jim said, at that moment, I realized that his wife, Rick's wife, never even heard of any life insurance or me or anything. But Jim wasn't losing hope. He, as a professional, he buttoned up, he fixed his tie, and
hope springs eternal.
Jim gave Rick's wife just the best presentation of his life.
Yeah.
Like the best. And she was so excited.
That was the first time hearing about it.
Yeah, she was first time hearing about it. She never heard of life insurance before in her life. And she was amazed. She was amazed that you can do that. She said, you can do that? Wow. So she said, Rick, come on. Like, let's just close the deal right now, because otherwise the opportunities are just, it can vanish,
Yeah.
So amazing. And then Jim turned to Rick and he said, so can we sign? Like, you see, I convinced her, and Rick said, man, like, actually, I just didn't want to tell you, but it wasn't my wife who was against it, but my accountant. And then Jim said, and then Jim just bursted in anger, and he said, but we have the same accountant. He gave me your number. And then Jim he grabbed all his stuff, and here's where Epiphany came, that he can, what's the key? It's don't be afraid to walk away. So this is where his fear.
Never trust your accountant.
His fear to walk away, he managed to kind of push it away. And
I don't want to tell people in the audience not to use your accountant as a good referral source.
Yeah.
This guy was just a shitty son of a bitch. That's all. I could have called him and told him, "Hey, you know what?
I think
Rich told me about it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, I think it's you're not going in the right direction, and you know, Jim could have avoided a wasted week of salary.
Yeah, and also his ego was kind of damaged, you know.
Damaged ego.
And Jim,
Ego's in the floor.
the quote here, Jim wrote, he said, "You see, Rick was having fun humiliating a salesperson.
Humiliating.
He didn't have any respect for someone selling financial products." And I like how they in book they recommend to torture people with fears in order to sell, and not just some random people, but their close family and friends. And then they are basically like suddenly Jim is offended when he realizes that he's been played. So Jim, he rushed to the door, and Rick asked him, "Oh, buddy, why are you leaving?"
I baked you a
And
cake.
here,
I baked you a cake.
we were having such a great time together. Why are you leaving? And here I'm gonna read the exact quote. It's like the most childish attempt to save the face. That's
Okay.
what Jim made.
Okay.
He said, quote, "Rick, I'm not sure you know what's been happening over the last 4 or 5 lunches we've had together. Presumably, you've been deciding whether or not you want to do business with me, but maybe you haven't understood what I've been doing." He says his bullshit like mission statement.
Yeah.
And then he said, "So over the last few weeks, I've been going through a decision-making process too. I've been deciding whether or not you qualify to be a part of my clientele. I've decided you don't make the cut."
Oh, he flipped it.
And he said, like, what we do, his dignity. And he slammed the door and walked away.
Okay, so he did get a little rage.
Of course. What I want to say, like, I like Rick. So Rick, if you are, or Rich, I'm sure, like, he changed the name for the book. But anyway, if you recognized yourself, Rick, just reach out. I'm sure you're a fun guy, a lot of fun, and we would love to have you on the show, you know. So yeah, Rick, he saw right through the Jim's bullshit, you know. He had fun with it on his lunch break, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't do any damage to his family. He
Listen,
saved money. He got
Rick-
amazing lunches.
Rick is a despicable, disgusting human being.
No, Jim.
No, Rick. Rick is. He's
No.
a disgusting human being for knowing he's taking Jim on a ride. He knows he's going to get more lunches out of this guy. He knows he's going to eat more lobster.
But what's I don't understand. What
Okay, the
Yeah.
sales guy
Yeah.
is eating the customer's bullshit, like buying he's getting sucked in,
Yeah.
and he's holding the candle of hope. He's holding it like the light is still on.
Yes.
I still can close this deal. I can close this deal. Maybe one more lunch. Maybe he could have realized earlier lunch was not a good place to close a deal.
Yeah.
Maybe a coffee shop, you know.
But isn't this was the best because
Epiphany.
because Jim says that was like the best epiphany in the 8 years of my career.
That was an expensive epiphany. It could have been cheaper.
But if not for the Rick, he wouldn't get it.
No, I get it.
And when the lesson is
You
paid,
realize there's 2 epiphanies here.
yeah.
There's 2 epiphanies. There's 3.
Yeah, go on.
There's 3 epiphanies. 1,
Yeah.
what you just talked about.
Yeah.
You know, learn when it's time to say no. 2, Lobster is not a good way to try and convince someone to buy something you're selling. And 3, never trust your accountant's referral.
Oh yeah.
That's the 3 epiphanies. For me, at least, the story was a good story. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So, is this a key to sales success?
Yeah, that was a key to don't be afraid to walk away.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
This was more insulting to. Yeah, don't be afraid to walk away. But honestly, this was a very expensive walk away. I'm not gonna say that I'm smarter than him,
No.
but I would have figured out the game a little earlier.
Well, here's the thing. Look, from my perspective, I'm kind of putting myself on the.
Would you get taken for a ride 4 times?
No. Look. Imagine you are there already at the door, right?
Yeah.
You are going out, and you are Jim.
Yeah.
And Rick said, "Hey, buddy, where are you going?" And you realized what was happening. You know what was happening. He knows what he was doing.
All the friends in your office. All the friends in your office are telling you, Jim, you're fucking nuts. This guy is just taking you for a ride.
No, but anyway, yes, but still, I'm imagining, okay, I was like played and like I buffooned in front of his wife. I did all this, juggled and danced and smiled and sing a song, and then, okay, now I'm at the door. I'm pissed, you know? And then Rick said, "Hey, buddy, where are you going?" I would say, "Hey, man, you know, like, I tried, like a good game, you know, I would say, I tried to sell you a crap, you were not buying it, you took me for the ride, like, high five, man. Like,
good job.
I have a respect for this thing you did, because you are kind of I'm a salesman, I want to become one day." And what happens when after two men had a fight?
You think Rich was the salesman?
No, I mean, he had the potential, he might be.
No, Rich was the salesman.
Yeah, he might be, or he might have
because he sold him on a lunch every time.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, what happens when two men, after they had a fight, they become buddies? It's very often happens, you know, because you can respect the person who punched you, and you might punch them back, you know, you have this fight, and then you become friends. You might become friends. And what I would do on the place of Jim is become friend with Rick. Who knows? And by becoming friend with him, you might eventually sell him the insurance. So anyway, the point is, when you are like kind of, you realize you've been played, or get it real, you know, say, "Hey, I see you, I've been played, and I kind of, you know, I admire your art."
Okay, you know,
go clear.
Don't be a sore loser.
Yeah, don't be sore loser. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim's a sore loser.
They had a game of like tennis game. Yeah,
tennis,
and
yeah.
he lost.
He lost.
And he said, "Hey, it's a good sportsmanship. You know, you
Yeah, the only problem is they were playing basketball.
And then you said, "Hey,
it was
buddy,
100-0.
What I would do, I would say, "Hey, Rick, I admire you. Would you buy me a lunch next time?"
No, the game was basketball. The score was 100-0. You found out that the wife doesn't even know about the life insurance. After Rich told you, "I got to go back and talk to my wife about it." The minute the wife told Jim, "I've never heard of this before," I would have walked out the door. Because, you know, it's like I was lied to. The integrity is gone. Because the wife is not going to be the person who sells this.
Yeah.
The wife is not going to be the one
Yeah.
who makes the decision-making process in this situation.
Yeah.
There's a liar here.
But there are two liars there. There's like two liars.
No, actually, I think Jim tried hard. I think he tried a little too hard. Anyway, let's keep going.
So, guys, like, let us know in the comment what you would do there at the door. First of all, when would you realize that?
I want to take a poll. Taken
for a ride.
Yeah.
At what point?
Yeah.
First dinner, first lunch, second lunch, third lunch,
I want to take
fourth
a poll.
lunch.
How many lunches does it take for you to shut the door? You tell us.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, I think you would take the 4 lunches.
Of course, because I want Rick to be my friend. I like the way he does it. You know, if the guy can convince me to pay for expensive lunch and I'm broke, I want to learn from that person. I want to do 8 lunches.
I would do 2 lunches. And then I'd call the accountant. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. So so here's the one of the lessons I think is, if you see an opportunity to have a nice meal at the expensive restaurant at no cost at all, just take it. You know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Another lesson that I wanna just touch here is, when you are, that's the lesson that Rick Rick is giving us here in this story is that sometimes you are in a situation where you don't want to say no, like that's coming from you to the person.
Every time you go to lunch with this guy, your
ego
gets involved.
Forget about the whole situation. I'm just going
keep going.
The advice, the tool that people can use. I wanna say.
Yeah, keep going.
You're in a situation you want to say no, but you can't say no. You don't want to say no. It's maybe not nice to say no right now.
Yeah.
From your perspective, it's what you do appeal to authority. You say, oh, it's my wife said no. It's my father says so, or my religion, God, my I don't know, boss says no.
Blame someone else.
Yeah, I don't blame. You appeal to authority. You say the authority made a decision on my behalf, and I am
a weak son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm kind of powerless here in this situation because I'm above that person. That's what you do. And the person that's right in front of you that hears you know, they say, oh, they understand. Because each and every one of us, we have someone above, kind of. I used, like, as a kid, I found that way, like, I don't know, I was super young when I figured it out, that I could just say, oh, it's just my father said so. But people say, why are you doing this? Why are you, I don't know, destroying this wall with your, like, paint, with the paint?
Easy.
Or I
it's
said,
easy.
Said my father said.
Yeah, my dad told me to do it.
My dad told me. Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't tell him my dad did it.
No, it's not. Look, this appeal to authority is a different situation. It's just how Rick used it. He didn't use it to get Jim to pay for his lunch. No, he used it to get out of that situation. He said, Jim, my wife said no. That's it.
No, I understand what
Jim
you're
is
saying.
not coming back. Oh, what's your rationalization?
He's not taking responsibility for his actions. He's using the accountant.
It's not about responsibility. Look. Imagine it's fourth lunch. I am Rick. I cannot believe I took you for this ride. I cannot believe you're so stupid. I tell you, Jim, I'm not buying this. And if I say I'm not buying this because I don't want to, you would say, "Oh, what are the points? What are your concerns? Let's talk about them."
Yeah.
But to skip all this, to remove all this, I'm gonna say, "Oh, my wife is against it." That's it. It's just shut the door.
So he used it twice.
That was a hint. Yeah, he told him.
You're right.
Look,
you're right.
look.
You're right. He used the hook twice. He used it when he sold
Rick
the wife.
Actually, tried to prevent this from continuing, because he was like
he was practically
he tried
begging.
it before.
He was practically begging Jim
to stop.
Jim,
stop. But what I use it for, this appeal to authority, is just sometimes you don't want to confront person. They're trying to sell you something, or they're trying to call you somewhere. For example, it's your friends, kind of, from the club. You go.
How about a cold call?
Or no. Imagine these are people you don't want to offend or feel bad or whatever. For example, they ask you, "Oh, can you go with us on weekend for this thing?"
Yeah.
You can, but you don't want to.
That's a white lie.
And you don't want to say, yeah. You say, "Yeah, I would love to, but my wife,
That's a white lie.
We can't." That's it. It's easy.
It's a white lie. It's supposed to be innocent.
You don't offend anyone. It's okay. It's a social skill. I tell my wife all the time. Someone like
you lie to your wife all the time.
No. I tell
white
her.
Lies?
I tell her, if someone wants something from you or whatever, just tell. My husband said no, or whatever. You want to say no to some situation? Say my husband's. Or why you have to do like this? My husband said so. That's it. It shuts down the conversation.
Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. So then Jim he lists what he says, the real truth about some prospects. One of the truths is some prospects are quick to agree to free lunches at expensive restaurants. This is where we actually see that he paid for it, because he hadn't mentioned. He just said it was expensive, so you kind of assume from the story that he just paid for himself, but no. Some prospects do not always reveal their true feelings.
Okay.
Captain Obvious.
Okay.
Some prospects believe their time is more valuable than yours is.
Okay.
This is kind of, yeah.
Some
prospects are not honest all the time, so we are back to the... And this one is just, I love this one. Some prospects are slow to trust you with all of their financial information immediately.
You know what? Out of all the crap that just came out of your mouth, that's the only one that actually makes sense to me. That's it.
But who would trust immediately with all your financial information?
Yeah. I've said it multiple times. I've been in financial sales. It's very hard, very uncomfortable to, especially with someone you just met, to tell them you're broke.
Yeah.
And you've got like negative money in your bank account. And it's like it hits at especially for men.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a man. I can't make money. Like they don't want to expose themselves as someone who cannot be a provider. So they, to your point, blame it on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was my wife. Moving on.
Okay, so I want to be done for today with just these two keys because it's enough. It's enough. Jim, he humiliated himself, and we all love Rick. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk about the books you brought.
This is one of the greatest books, I believe, written in the world of like marketing and sociology and philosophy. Mm-hmm. It's called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a bestseller, but it's like a real bestseller that's worth your money. And
so you recommend buying this book?
This goes on the anti-notice of demolition list. This is a book that everybody should read. What I'm going to talk about right now is like a sales and marketing thing.
Yeah.
He talks about different archetypes of people, but the archetype that I want to talk to you about is the connector. There's some people in this world, we've touched on this a little bit. There are people who find value, who just, I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm going to give you a direct quote.
Yeah.
He simply likes people in a genuine and powerful way, and he finds the patterns of acquaintanceship and interaction in which people arrange themselves to be endlessly fascinating. Understand this quote deeply, because what it means is that this particular individual is not interested in the monetary value of the relationships that he makes with people.
He's fascinated.
He's fascinated by the patterns of the acquaintanceships between other people that he meets. So when he finds joy, remember you talked about value transference between friendship, having a friend, two values have to be passed between two people. Yeah. He finds value in connecting two people that can have value together. There are these people in the world of sales and marketing are invaluable people. One of the things that you should be doing in sales, in marketing, is looking for these individuals, constantly searching for them, making them your friends, earning their trust, providing value. Lobster dinners.
Yeah.
Lobster dinners over lobster steaks and whatever. Because
they are your referral machine.
They are your referral machines. And what Malcolm Gladwell says, he breaks people down into 4 archetypes. This particular archetype of a human being is real. There are people that are like this in this world who find value simply in connecting people together. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's one of the things Malcolm Gladwell just really, one of the parts of this book that it wasn't completely obvious.
Yeah. Because
I didn't know that.
Do you have a good example of such a person, like in your life?
Yes, I do. I've got a couple people. There was a guy, he will remain nameless. Let's call him John. John I moved into a new neighborhood. John lived down the street. John, we threw the football around a little bit. We were kids. I was in like 6th or 7th grade at the time, and he was always outside. So John was the kind of guy who had acquaintances over acquaintances over acquaintances over acquaintances. Like, he knew everybody. And these were people that didn't go to his school.
Mm-hmm.
These were people that went to like every different school. I mean, I understand if you knew everyone at your school because you go there every day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive, but that doesn't blow my mind. But this guy knew everybody everywhere. So he lived down the street from me and we connected.
What he was doing? What?
He lived there.
No, I mean the job.
We didn't have a job. We just became friends. He'd come over, I'd feed him, we'd play in my pool.
Wait a second. He wasn't. Oh, so he was an adult? Or?
We were in 7th grade. We were
sorry.
young.
Yeah,
we were young.
Okay.
So we bonded. We became friends. You know, in the summer, he'd come to my pool. He didn't have a pool. You know, we'd throw the ball around. We'd do, dumb shit that kids do.
So how he's met so many people? Like,
travel? No. So it starts to reveal itself that...
So you have no idea.
I have no idea. So one day he says, "Hey, Mike, let's go to a party together."
Yeah.
I go to a party I'm like 7th grade. You shouldn't be going. For kids, your age, that you have that are in 7th grade, not a great age to let your kids leave the house unsupervised. In a taxi, and you don't know where they're going. Okay, so this is kind of called bad parenting. So my parents.
No, I like all these stories. Like people say, "Oh, so I was 6 years old and I'm sitting there and it's like my 5th cigarette." By the way, kids, never smoke. Don't smoke. Never smoke.
So my parents loved John because he made him laugh, and he was over all the time, and he became like family. They trusted him. So one night we go to a party, and all of a sudden, everybody's coming up to John, giving him high fives, shaking his hand, making everybody laugh. He was a goofy guy, and he attracted people. He attracted them. He kept the party going.
He was likable.
Yeah. He wasn't asking anything from anybody, but he was the guy that everybody knew. And then this is what happened. I went to high school. And what happened was, I wasn't very popular. I was just kind of like this goofy guy that, I had friends, but I wasn't the guy that had all the friends. But I went to an all-boys school. It was a Catholic all-boys school. And nobody really knew what was going on in my life after I come home from school. Everyone thought I was a nerd, that I had no friends. That happened for freshman year, sophomore year, and then junior year, when the kids were like 16, they could drive.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're going to these parties, with other school people, and they're kind of meeting people. And then they see me there, and all of these people at the party are my friends. All of them. Because for years, I've been going to these parties. I know all of them. They're my friends. They're not acquaintances, they're my friends. So these guys who were popular in school are looking at me now like, who the fuck is Michael? Where the hell did he come from? He's like the nerd. Like, nobody really talks to him at school. But we go out on a Saturday night, and they're walking in like they don't know anybody. I'm walking in like high-fiving, we're drinking, we're having cocktails, we're all underage, there's all kinds of, I'm not paying at the door, like kids are throwing parties where they're charging money at the door. I'm walking right in. I know the promoters, I know everybody. So I made a relationship with a natural born connector. Now, I am not a connector. I earn the respect and the trust and the friendship of a connector, John.
Yeah.
And anytime I call John, if I ever need anything, if I need like a network or someone to talk to about something, I can call John like this, and he'll give me 5 names immediately. immediately, without question. And those 5 people, it's not a cold call.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, John recommended you, so give me a shot. So when I talk about meeting connectors, these are probably the most important people you'll ever meet in your life, especially from a business standpoint, because and you want to become friends with them, you want to add value to their life, because I'm just giving you one example of one person who transformed my entire social circle, even to this very day. So that's why I brought this book up. You know, like I wanted to make a point about these kinds of people in the world, and that instead of doing these 22 keys of bullshit success, these are the people that you should be looking for. Your referral machines.
Yeah.
This is a book. It's called Hey Whipple, Squeeze This.
What is Whipple?
Okay, so he's a marketing guy. He's a copywriter.
Yeah.
And he's in advertising. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just this is copyright. This is
like
like
the word Whipple means.
Whipple is a made-up word.
Oh, okay.
Hey Whipple,
so
squeeze
who's
this.
the author or?
The author is Luke Sullivan and Edward Bosch. The Classic Guide to Creating Great Ads.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to go through this whole book.
Yeah.
But there's only one section of this book that stands out to me, that talks actually about what was going on in the first part of our show. He says 10 minutes of work at a real agency should be enough to convince even the greatest cynical client that you can't sell a product to someone who has no need for it. That you can't sell a product to someone who can't afford it. And that good advertising is about the worst thing that can happen to a bad product. You can't sell shit in a box. You just can't. If you do sell the shit in the box, you'll never get a referral.
Yeah.
You'll never get a referral.
Yeah.
And you're not in the business of looking for new customers every day.
Yeah, so by saying you can sell, you mean you cannot build good business, like long-lasting business.
You can't build a long-lasting business by selling bad product.
Bad product.
Yeah. So that is kind of why I wanted to bring that up. Mm-hmm. Remember, Luke Sullivan, all of these books I highly recommend. And then this is interesting. The guy who wrote this book, again, his name is Malcolm Gladwell. This is a follow-up book. It's called Blink, which is another very good book. He's quoting a 20th century marketing man named Louis Shevskin. He says there's this concept called sensation transference. Mm-hmm. Put it in another way, Shevskin believed that most of us don't make a distinction on an unconscious level between the package and the product. The product is the package and the product combined. So think about this. In our circumstances, in our story, the packaging was the lunch. The product was the insurance. In this particular circumstance, it is most likely one or the other was bad. Was the product bad? Mm-hmm. In this case, the product was bad. It means that it's not necessarily a bad thing to take a client or a prospect to a nice dinner. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Mm-hmm. If your product sucks, then you've got a problem. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Comments down below if you have any comments on this particular part of my section.
Yeah, and if any of you guys you sell life insurance and you're willing to pay for lunch in my favorite restaurant, I would love to meet you there.
But
and I will go through the 1 hour survey.
The 1 hour survey
with excitement in my eyes, and like, just give it a try. You never know.
So I think we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you all for listening in. If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe. If you want to get notified when we go live, whatever, click the bell. We'd really appreciate it.
And check out in the description, look for links for you can buy our merchandise and support us another way, like in the ways presented there.
Yeah, but for the most part, this is for fun and for free.
And also, buy our stuff.
Buy our stuff. I'd never respect you if you didn't do that.
Shattered dreams and tales so bold. False kings on their thrones of gold. Lies sold with a charming smile. Watching truth walk into the fire. Promises of riches vast. Wisdom stolen from the past. In this world of broken mirrors, their advice won't make it clear. Thoughts, the myths of fake bliss, notice of demolition. Tear down walls of blindness, welcome true vision. Vision, true vision. True vision. Gurus preaching plans so grand, built on castles made of sand. Business tricks and self-help sham. Lies the liar, truth's the lamb. Shrouded in deceit and fear, echoes loud but never clear. Break the chains of advice cold, reclaim all they've stolen sold. Bust the myths and fake bliss, notice of demolition. Tear down walls of blindness, welcome true vision. Vision, true vision. Demolition, demolition, demolition,
I left like a legendary air fryer experience.